Thank you very much for joining us tonight. We are back, officially the first episode of our podcast where you give zero shits about what we talk about, and we're still getting over getting sick, so we give even less shits. I am here
Yes.
with my co-host Cheese today. How you doing?
Pretty good, I guess. Just
Yes.
casually living life.
Oh,
But for those on my stream, since I am streaming too,
yes.
those on my stream, this will be our second. The first one, everyone knows, was kind of a bit messy. We were still working out the kinks. And this one, we're coming back, and hopefully it's a million times better. And we had a lot more prep, and we know exactly what we did wrong. So we plan to fix it. Um,
Absolutely.
and I will be starting to also stream on my account on, I believe, the 28th. Don't quote me on that. I know it's a Monday. I will, hold on, let me check so I get the dates right. Um,
Absolutely. Since we're on that note, I would like to say, like,
I believe it's the 22nd. The 22nd or the 29th. I don't know. I just remember it's one of those days. I have it on my Twitch in my bio. Please go check it out if you want to know the dates on when I start actually streaming Fortnite. And without further ado, I will give you the floor back again.
no, that's perfectly fine. I'm still trying to figure out the function of streaming as it is. So until I'm able to figure out what the fuck is going on, because like I don't know what it does. If I try to record live, it'll just freeze right then and there. So until I figure out what's going on with that, I'll just make these recordings, and then
Go from
bippity
there.
boppity boo, here you go.
Oh,
But
lordy.
yeah, today we are getting on the topic of bleh, words, Typhon. God damn, toxic friends. This has definitely been one that's been fresh with us for a little bit now. Definitely been going through a little bit of shit here. So, what better time than right now when it's still fresh as fuck?
Yes. And if anyone wants to share, oh my God, if anyone wants to have their input, my DMs are also open. My Snapchat for my Twitch is in my bio. It's FireBallCher. If you want to post anonymously or anything, I'm throwing that out there for all of my people who want to stay private and not have their name thrown out there, and which there'll be like no names every, like, if you want to add names into your story, I will sit there and just tell me, and I'll sit there and I'll come up with a name as I go. Okay. But all right.
Absolutely, and I'll
So,
post a direct link in my bio as well. So if you guys, again, she nailed it pretty good. If you have any stories you want to share, if you have any input, absolutely, we are all ears.
whew.
So, would you like to kick this off? Because I feel like there's quite a bit that we could both
I
say on this
know.
topic.
Mm, oh Lord, I don't know why. I literally ate dinner and my tummy's already growling for some reason. And I'm just gonna let you do it. Like,
Okay.
I'm so sidetracked right now.
Nah,
I'm
you're
not even thinking
fine.
straight. I
Like,
need, you start it.
so I think a good place to start this would be like to us. I mean, I know we're not going to have the same definition, but like, what defines a toxic friend, do you think? Um, in my eyes, it's usually anyone who's willing to play off of your emotions for any sort of self benefit. It could be very manipulative, it could be very narcissistic, but it doesn't usually come across as such, if that makes sense.
I feel like it's roughly what you said, but I feel like, I don't know. I feel like narcissist is such a bigger word for it,
Yeah.
and I feel like I feel like yeah, like toxic friends can have those traits, but I wouldn't say like a lot of them are narcissists,
Mm,
but majority of them can be.
yeah,
Like there's people that could be like the sweetest people ever and you just not even know that they're toxic for you.
right.
And I feel like that's where a lot of like controversy and stuff comes into play is where people sit there and they everyone views a toxic friend differently. But
Yeah.
like the main ones, like for example, is like how am I gonna put this? There's so many different ones, but
So you touched on something
I feel
pretty
like
interesting there. Like they could be a really good person, but somehow still toxic for you. Like how do you figure this?
oh my gosh, sorry.
No,
I'm still sick.
like I
But
said, everybody,
like
we're
how
getting
I
over this
see
shit.
it.
So if you hear her coughing, if you hear me sounding like I'm doing a line, like blow me. I don't. I don't.
I know. It's been going on a week now. Hopefully I don't have bronchitis, but
Hopefully.
we aren't perfect. Nobody here is perfect. And by any means, no one is ever perfect. But but I honestly feel like narcissist is not the right word.
Mm,
I feel like a toxic friend is like more like someone who sits there and like says that they're going to do something, like say for example like oh well, I want to sit here and do this with you guys but always bails. Like I feel like that could have like some form of like toxicity in it. Like
so, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like, kind of what I'm getting is like being in a friendship with that sort of individual, like, it isn't necessarily beneficial to your growth as a person, is kind of what I'm getting from that.
yes,
Please
like
correct me.
that's like sort of what I'm getting at, like for the most part, but I feel like there's so many definitions of toxic friends out there that it's kind of hard to like put a pinpoint on exactly what a toxic friend is.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why no one really talks about it because there's so many different sides, you know?
Yeah. And
And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
here, I'll let you
No.
go. You can go.
No,
You
like
can go.
I will concede, like you're absolutely right. Like I think the reason why that was like my default definition of it is because I've only ever had experience with that kind of toxic friendship, you know?
So like what would like how would you put like the word narcissist like wrapped into toxic friends?
Well, I mean, if we're talking about narcissism like textbook definition, it is basically if it doesn't come back around to you in one form or another, then you want nothing to do with it. Like you just kind of feed off of that energy. So when it comes to a toxic friendship, they will like kind of manipulate your emotions into what they would want out of it. I don't like I'm not wording
No,
good just yet, but
I
I
can see that.
okay. Yeah, that's usually been my experience with it. You're absolutely right. Like there's multiple different definitions for toxicity and I will absolutely concede to that.
So like what would like a level for like toxic friends be to you?
Like telltale signs or like how far would it go before I acknowledge it as toxic?
Mm, I would say like the tail signs first.
Yeah. I do kind of agree with what you said earlier. I'm starting to kind of realize that a bit is when their actions necessarily aren't like beneficial for your growth. And there's a bit of a bad spin on that, and I will elaborate. Um, I'll use an example. When I was younger, I did have that one toxic friend. I did not know he was toxic until it was too late for me. But um, this was in elementary school. I think I was in like the fourth or fifth grade. But he was really up talking his dad. He was really proud of him and everything like that. And we got on the subject of his dad's knife collection. And I don't necessarily know how we came about to this, but I know that at one point or another he had convinced me to bring a pocket knife to school so that I could show him. Sure as shit, I showed him, and then I was ratted out to the principal and was suspended for the next week. Like, I will absolutely
Yeah,
admit, like,
I can see how that's kind of like toxic. I feel like when you're in like high school, it gets more toxic. Like
it really
since you're
does.
getting older, like throughout high school, like I had like there was so much, and I feel like pettiness is the word I'm looking for. I feel like it has like ties to it also because like a lot of people can mainly just be jealous is why they want to sit there and be toxic and and I just feel like how it sits there and like ties into it is that like someone could sit there and just be like jealous of say like a relationship or or like oh well you have nicer things or freaking you get where I'm coming
Yeah.
from.
Yeah,
Like
no, I do. Um, and you're absolutely right. Like, you touched on something there for a second. Coming into high school, coming into your own, like, people are a lot more impressionable. People start to learn, like, the ins and outs of what is and is not, like, quote unquote, socially acceptable or toxic, I guess. So it's definitely the line is blurred a lot more when you get older. You are absolutely right on that.
Whew.
And cheese just fell to her death. So
Nah,
like
for
kind of in the
real.
background we got a little what is this, parkour?
Yeah.
Okay, we got a parkour map going on in the background, so if you just hear like random commentary like that, like don't mind us.
Just casually playing also. But I feel like say for example, like if you're playing with someone in like in Fortnite, like if you're playing with someone and then next thing you know, like they're over here like, oh well why did you take this? Why did you do that? Like, oh well you took all my kills and like they're being really rude about it.
Yeah,
I feel like that's also a form of like toxic too.
yeah,
Like like yeah, like I know like it's for everyone, but you'll always have that toxic person in your life. And like not everyone can sit there and like spot a toxic person. And I feel like that's why it's a lot harder to sit here and talk about everything is because everyone doesn't really talk about it a whole lot
yeah,
because of the fact of like, oh, well, it also ties into like bullying and there's so many like major topics on top of it that you could sit here and go into talking
yeah.
about toxic friends.
Right.
And oh my gosh. And I feel like that's why it hardly gets talked about.
Yeah.
But
And it could be a lot harder for a lot of people who don't necessarily know how to handle that kind of situation. Like, and again, I'll use myself as an example. Like, I am on the spectrum. It's hard enough for me to make friends as it is, but to acknowledge when something isn't exactly healthy for me as an individual and as a growing boy, like that makes it that much harder because I don't know what is and is not acceptable at that point. So growing up, like I was definitely exposed to that quite a bit. And even now, like we had mentioned it earlier, like we're dealing with it now, today of all days, you know?
And I feel like some of like even like these big name like streamers and stuff, like I feel like even some of them probably like even they'll like sit there and like they'll experience like toxic friends. Like everyone, like if you tell me you have never experienced the toxic friend in your life, I would sit there and pretty much say that you were lying because almost every single person has literally sat there and experienced the toxic friend. And I feel like that's one of the other reasons why it hardly ever gets talked about is because not a lot of people know exactly how to start that conversation.
Right. Oh my God, that's a dead end. um, no. Oh boy. Um, no, you're absolutely right. Like, not a lot of people are aware of like how to identify it, let alone how to deal with it. And it can be really sad. It is a really serious issue that could be going around, even with adults. You know, I was talking to my sister at one point, and she was kind of filling me in on the whole what's her name, Sniper Wolf. I think that's what her name is, but how
I'm
she
not for sure. I
was,
don't watch her.
yeah, she was a streamer for a very long time, and she started getting into a lot of trouble because I don't know if it was like relationship issues or what, but she started stalking this guy and posting his address for all the haters and everything on social media. But the biggest issue with that, in my opinion, is that, you know, she's been big on YouTube for a very long time, and they're like, they don't want to start losing money because one of their best influencers is having a shit show.
Yeah. I could see that too, but I feel like especially with like how everything is going. Oh, there's one of our other
Oh,
co-hosts.
hello! Everybody, this is one of our co-hosts today. I love to introduce Emawoo.
Hey guys,
How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How
I'm
are you
so
guys
happy to hear
doing?
that. We're doing pretty good. I am trying not to die by falling off this log. Um, oh my god, I am 150 meters up in the air. I swear to god, if I die now.
Oh my gosh, this makes me rage so bad.
But yeah,
Um,
we just got on the topic of like how one would define a toxic friendship. Do you like I would love to hear your input on that. Like how you define it, any examples you have of it, like any experiences? Like spill it.
Yeah, I've actually had a couple experience with um uh, some toxic friends. Um, I had this one friend when I was like middle school and everything, and like I didn't know it was toxic because middle school, you never know till like later on. And so shit, I don't know if this would be considered as toxic or anything, but she literally was like, "Oh, like I can't talk to you, or I can't be around you until I, you know, like until you give me something cool." And so I would like try to struggle um to like find like stuff to give to them in order to be able to like for them to talk to me.
Mm.
And so it was just like what friend would like require you to give them something in order to for them to talk to you like.
Yeah, I could definitely see how that would be construed as toxic. I don't.
Okay, I hate to interrupt, but this one dude asked how we were, and they're from Brazil.
Brazil, holy shit, how you doing, bruh?
Yeah.
I like to think we're doing pretty good.
I mean, we're doing okay. We're just sitting over here talking about toxic friends and how they're like pretty much like, oh my gosh, I can't think. But pretty much toxic friends and like like how to view them and like figure out exactly like how do I
Yeah,
put this? Figure out exactly how to pinpoint a toxic friend is what we're also going to touch on today,
yeah.
but that's a tiny bit later.
So we did kind of pinpoint that Emawoo. We were towards the beginning we were talking about how like there are multiple. Oh, fuck you!
I just fell.
Anyway, um we were talking about how um like there could be multiple kinds of toxic relationships. I've usually had like the bad side of it. Cheese
Oh
did
my
kind of
gosh.
mention how like there could be toxic relationships even if they're not necessarily a bad person. What is your take on that?
On toxic relationship.
On like the different kind of people that could be involved in said toxic relationship.
Um, I mean, I have my own experience. I mean, oh, fudge suckles, I just fell off the tire. But no, I was in this pretty like toxic one. I mean, especially like when you are young and everything, it's like and even if it's like your first relationship or like your first love or whatever, I feel like
Oh,
sometimes like some people end up being toxic because, people don't know how to love sometimes. Especially if it's their first time like loving a person and everything like that.
yeah. That definitely makes sense. Especially like
No, no, no,
young
no, no, no,
love.
no, 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 no,
It's
no, 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 no.
like I feel like we could get into a whole nother topic about that, but
Oh yeah.
um it is very curious that I like I said, I've only ever experienced the more negative aspects of toxic friendships. I had talked about how one person had convinced me to bring a pocket knife to school. We were in elementary school, by the way.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, he like ratted me out, got me in trouble and everything. But
Oh, oh.
I that was definitely a very curious, like I never would have considered that that it could be good people at the same time.
Right. Because, especially like you said you were in elementary at that time.
Yeah, like I think it was
Yeah,
like
like
3rd or 4th grade.
Yeah, like how are you supposed to know? Because you're like, oh, they want to see it. They took interest in that, and so you're like, oh, I didn't know that it was bad.
Right. Well, especially like, again, I had mentioned earlier like I'm on the spectrum. It's hard enough
Oh,
for me to make friends as it is, so I can't necessarily identify what is and is not a good relationship at that point as it is.
yeah, I like it's been hard for me, especially because I also went through a situation like, and not a situationship, more like I was friends with this person, and we were all a big group.
Yeah.
So I was in a big friend group, and so at one point we were all fine and everything till like everyone was putting each other, like they were, basically putting each other against one another, and it just got really bad. And like at one point it was just me and this other two people, and we were just like, oh, okay, we'll be a trio then,
Yeah.
because why not? And so then, come to find out, I was blocked by one of them one day, and oh, shiver me timbers, I just fell.
That is the most PG thing I've heard so far.
But I figured out I was unedited one day, and so I texted this one person. I'm like, hey, why did they unadd me? And they lied to me saying they didn't know. So after I did a little bit digging, because sometimes, like, if you don't explain to me, sometimes I'm gonna be honest, if you don't tell me what I did wrong and try to fix it, I will try and do it myself, because I'm the type of person that, even if we fix things and then end up, not being friends anymore, I want to at least try and not be on bad terms.
Right.
Because, I want to be there, like, even, if we're not friends again. So, I'm to figure out that the trio that I was in, one of the people lied about, what I said and everything, because, and I was like, bruh, that's not what happened. And come to figure out, like, they turned against me and everything just because of what someone said. They didn't come to ask me or anything. And they picked someone else, like they picked them to believe in anything. And,
Mm.
it kind of hurt my feelings, because I'm like, you didn't really come to me and you didn't say anything. You just decided to block me and not come to me with it. And so I got blamed for like stuff that I didn't do. And for a while I really thought it was my fault,
Yeah.
because I was easily like I was easy to manipulate, because having a big heart, can like that can happen to you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, off topic for the
No.
moment. Every time
No,
every
no, no,
time
no. I mean, that was pretty on topic if you ask me, but
no,
Honestly, yeah.
no, but like every time she jumps, her tail goes up, and I can't stop laughing.
I'm
I see go
sorry.
boing, boing.
oh
Oh
god.
my god, I fell. Oh, I
But
was
no.
so freaking high up. I was like 500 freaking meters up, and I freaking fell to my death, and I got so
Oh
mad. That's why I was
god.
quiet.
Oh, that's why you were. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Uh, oh my
But
god.
no, it's like why would you do that to somebody? Like believe them without hearing the other side of the story. Fudge, 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 fudge,
See,
fudge.
that's exactly why I sit there, and when I get into an argument, I have to sit there and always view each side of the story, you know?
Yeah.
Like, 'cause I'll have like if it doesn't involve me, I have to sit there and hear both sides to like sit here and view the bigger picture to like actually give advice on it. 'Cause I'm not gonna sit here and run into an argument like especially like since I already heard one side was toxic, maybe the other side was probably the same way, you know? And I don't want to like sit here and assume that only one person was toxic and not the other, because you can still have a friendship and both sides be toxic.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, like I agree. Like you both can have a toxic side of it, because if you never hear one part of it, how are you gonna know, if that really happened? What the
Yeah.
fudge?
No, you're absolutely right. And,
I'm being chased by a dog. I'm being chased by a dog.
oh no. Chased by a
Oh
dog.
no.
What?
There's somebody in here.
Oh, it's
Um.
Heart,
Oh, I didn't see the name. I
our
just saw the
special
dog.
Oh,
guest.
bruh. How you doing, buddy? Guys, we got another guest here. Broken Heart, how you doing?
I don't think he plugged in his mic yet. I
Great.
don't think he got that
Good to
far.
hear. So,
My room, nigga.
wee.
Anyways, how have you been?
Oh, I was good until I started doing this. Nah, I know
You have any input you want to say on a toxic friendship?
it. Drop kick that nigga to the moon.
Oh my god,
That
no.
is demonetized.
Oh lord. I feel like you can experience like some light on this too. Like
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
there
like I'm not
goes a
trying to
butter
sit
on a
here
toe on a
I'm not trying to
stick.
sit here and say any names or anything, but one of the people we played with,
Yeah.
like one of the people me and him used to play with all the time
Yeah, get
was
off my
trying to
box.
sit here and
We'll call her
like
Daisy. Like,
yeah.
Daisy, you
like
got up a daisy.
Well, okay, so he was trying to sit here and try to get with this girl named Daisy, and Daisy was also underage. And I feel like there was a lot that went behind that also, but I don't want to like sit here and like throw too much out there,
yeah.
I
without
mean,
like, because I feel like I'm gonna end up saying a name at some point, and I I don't want to talk about
Like,
it if I know I'm gonna say a name.
if I knew where
But
the bleep feature was, like, we would not have to worry about that.
nah, there is no bleep feature on mine, so.
God damn it.
No, but like I
I'm
don't know this.
stuck.
I don't know if this really would be considered under toxic friends, but
Oh,
since we're like
no.
talking about like people who are toxic and everything, I was like in
Sharice
a
is toxic.
I am not toxic.
Fireball, excuse me.
but I was in a
I'm not
toxic
toxic.
relationship for like five months, honestly, because no, but I met this person. And I thought it was going great at first. We were in love. Everything was perfect. But
Ew.
shut up.
Ooh.
But then like later on, like for this, it was like our four almost our. It was like literally like a day after our like 5 year anniversary, 4 year anniversary, 4 month. Sorry, not year. Holy shit.
4 years.
Um.
Holy shit.
Nah, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Take your time.
um. I
Oh,
was
excuse
like
me.
kind of done with it because during like before like the time like our 4 month anniversary, they began to become like a little toxic. Like I couldn't talk to anybody. We had to be on the phone 24/7. Like even if I was at school, like I couldn't talk to any girls, but I could talk to guys because at that point I was a lesbian. And so every time I would like talk to girls or anything, I was like viewed as being like a cheater.
Hmm.
And it's like even if they were like my friends, like I couldn't talk to them at all. And I lost quite a few of them. And like I had to stop talking to some of them for quite a while because I didn't want to lose them as friends. But I wanted to make them happy because I thought that was love.
Yeah.
Doing anything to make your partner happy. But I come to find out that they were cheating on me the entire time, and then
Ain't that some shit?
they were also like
No!
saying rude stuff about me and said that I was the rebound person, and they were like, "Oh, like you were toxic and everything, like you cheated too, like," and they did a little like test on me and everything, and I'm like, "Why would you test me?" Like, and they're like, "Oh, because we wanted to see how loyal you would like loyal you really are,"
Hmm.
and I'm like, "I was loyal, like I am. Like." they would log into my Snapchat every day, post on my story. I let them say whatever they want on my story. I let them look through my Snapchat. I didn't really talk to anybody. My phone was like really dry, but and like I talked to just them, and it was really mentally draining, especially like even like when you stop being friends with toxic people and everything,
Yeah.
or relationship in general. Like it can be mentally exhausting on you. It can
Very.
like take a toll on you. Like I remembered I had to like get my phone taken away from me because I was not in a good state of mind where like social media was helping me.
Right.
So I took a break on that, and eventually, I got some help, and I started getting better. It's still like I don't say it still affects me, but like deep down, it just reminds me, just like people can really go to lengths just to like use you and everything, and just like I don't get how people like have the morals or the brain or whatever to think, oh, we're gonna use people, you know,
Yeah.
to benefit from one another.
What are your thoughts on this, Cheese?
All I know is I made it to season 2 and I'm panicking. But okay. But nah, I feel like you guys are like honestly on the right track. Like is there like
Sorry.
any other like comments or anything else we want before the next topic?
uh,
I'd like to talk about how this game is making me mad.
yeah. Speaking of toxicity,
This game
um,
brings out my rage.
so that just brought something to mind, and I would like to get you guys' thoughts on this. What are your thoughts on self-inflicted toxicity?
Ooh.
Define self-inflicted toxicity. Like, are you talking about like poor self-love, or what do you mean? Go into depth on that.
So I just thought about this, but like another one of my friends, I'll call her. She's a little
Booty
emo
cheeks.
bitch. I'll call her Raoul.
Booty cheeks.
No.
I'll call her Raoul. Um, so she has this habit, like whenever she gets into a relationship, she has a tendency to completely cut herself off from like all of her friends, all of her family, and everything like that. And to an
Oh,
extent, I
okay.
kind of get it. You know, she was raised in that environment where, like, any other connections made their partner insecure. I get that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody else should suffer for like that kind of mindset. Like, what are your thoughts on self-inflicted toxicity?
Okay. From coming from a person who used to do that, um, I feel like that I understand where like coming from that friend, like you just isolate yourself because there's a lot of thoughts going through your head, because after like you experience like so much trauma and everything,
Yeah,
um your brain kind of like changes, and sometimes like your brain will like push anybody or anyone away to make that safe space because you're like kind of like in survival mode.
yeah,
So when you're in that survival mode, you are trying to do anything and everything to protect yourself from being harmed again.
right.
So whenever, but I really do think it's also not a great thing as well because I agree with you. Nobody really deserves to be pushed away, especially like if people are helping you, because they're the people who love and care about you. They're the ones who want best for you.
Right. And it's not to say I'm not happy for her. She's I'm presuming she's gonna get married, but she's in a relationship. She's about to have a baby. She's doing great. This is the happiest I've seen her in a very long time. But it doesn't necessarily take away from the fact that it's not the healthiest way to approach it. If that makes sense.
Right.
Uh, Cheese, what are your thoughts?
I don't know. I feel like she's trying to sit here and like enjoy her pregnancy rather than like sit here and like this is me coming from a mom though, like a mom's
Right.
point of view. But like I feel like she's trying to sit there and like enjoy her pregnancy, like especially since she's like a newly pregnant mom,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like she don't want none of that toxicity in her life anymore, and she's like really trying to sit there and like mature as a person.
Yeah. Nah, that makes sense.
Right, or like
Oh
she
my
could
god,
have.
I don't know how you got past this part. I've been struggling for a hot
Uh,
minute.
so, oh my god. So if you hop a diddle over the doors here and use the table, oh my god, this is fucking terrifying.
Oh, you
And you're
flat back
able to,
roll
oh
that
my god.
bitch.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
yeah, there's a door
Or like,
here. You
or
hop,
like
oh
I
she
my
figured it
could.
god,
out.
no, please god.
She,
Oh,
your friend, she could be like, oh, she probably wants to like kind of also enjoy that like privacy and everything,
yeah,
because like you just said, she like is having a baby and everything, and I think
yeah,
she just wants to be like, ah. She wants
right.
to like enjoy that privacy in the first few before like she lets anybody touch them or anything. Cause I know someone and they're about to have a baby soon, and they're like, I want at least like
Bruh, I'm so mad. I just
like
fell.
Oh no.
no, no, I just fell.
No!
I was
Okay. Um, yeah, and I want to preface, like, I am happy for them. They're in a good headspace. They're happy where they are. I am not gonna be the kind of person to try and take that away. It was kind of curious because this was something like Raul had openly mentioned all their own is like that's kind of the mind space that they were coming into.
I just think that also with different a different like experience with it and everything, but from what I've like known and everything, like you know, you tend to like I know like people tend to stress out easily and like your emotions are like heightened a little bit, like you can
Yeah.
feel things more. And I just think that they're also just worried about uh, you know, with their baby and everything because, moms who are pregnant, they can feel the baby and everything. They
Yeah.
don't want to stress out the baby. They don't want to, like, because baby can feel like when you're stressed or when you cry. And, it can be really
Yeah.
depressing at some points.
It
And I
can
just
I'm
think,
be.
sorry. I had an ambulance. I had to mute myself.
Oh,
Just
you're
run
fine.
past my house. But
Um,
nah, like I can see that too though,
yeah.
honestly.
Broken, like we haven't really gotten your input here. Like, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I don't really know because okay, I can kind of understand the whole self-isolation part of it, but being someone who does self-isolate when things get, stressful or tough or toxic in a way, I can tell you from experience that it's not a positive thing to do because you can't heal on your own. Like when you go to the hospital, you don't fix yourself, you know.
Right.
You have a team of people who care for you. So, I mean,
That is actually such a good analogy, honestly. Like I really like how you sat there and like
Yeah.
put
thank
like
you.
a hospital like thing like in there. Like not a lot of people would like compare it to a hospital, you know?
Freaking use essential oils to fix a missing limb, like kind of
Yeah.
shit.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
you
kind of.
Anyways, I
son of a
don't mean
bitch!
to like be off topic, but did y'all watch the eclipse?
I did. I did.
I did
It got
not.
completely dusk dark where I stay. So it was kind of cool for a little bit. It was completely nighttime, in daytime. So it was nice.
I didn't even watch it. I played Fortnite.
yeah, I
Honestly,
didn't
same.
watch it because, It seems like the eclipse have been happening more frequently the past couple of years or so. So, and plus it's just the moon going over the sun. I mean, I get that could be like a very cool like thing for some people, but in my opinion, it's just the moon going over the sun, covering up for a little bit, and
Yeah.
then just going back around.
Yeah. But the thing about it is, where I stay, it kind of gave like a cool effect because you know how like when you're at a barbecue and you get too close to the grill and you get like a lot of smoke in your face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what it looked like, but it did burn your eyes. It
Ooh.
was a nice little you know moment. The only issue was we had a lot of tourists here in this extremely small town. So, I was ready for everybody to get the hell out after, the sun had went out. Because
Eh,
my
but don't
town
you
has
think,
never had
like, don't
traffic.
you think, like, some of like the people, like in the town, like when they were driving, could have been like toxic to like the new people coming in?
Oh my God.
Probably.
Because I know when I get tourists down here, because I'm not gonna say exactly where I'm at, but I am in a really really touristy town for one main reason, and I'm not gonna sit there and say that reason because I don't want anyone knowing exactly where at, but
Schomburg.
oh my god, no. But nah, like there's a lot of like reckless drivers. Like I've been noticing that. Like there's a lot of reckless drivers when I've been driving and everything
Oh
because I
God.
also
I just
I
watched your
also
ass drop.
I also deliver and stuff too. And, like I'm not like I'll share that and stuff. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of stories I could sit there and share from freaking delivering. Oh my god, so many stories. All of them know my stories already because I sit there and tell them as it happens because I'm like that terrified sometimes. But it's really enjoyable. Like you'll have those stories that are like really sweet, people can be toxic.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always have to be toxic friends. Like it doesn't always have to be a friend for someone to be toxic. And I feel like when people actually realize like when people are toxic is when they can actually sit there and remove and start healing from that journey.
Yeah.
Definitely. I kind of think, well, my town is a little redneck ghetto, so we literally had a sign out that was saying to all the bad people, be on your best behavior, we have company.
I love that. I love that. Oh my gosh, I love that so much.
I mean, it was funny. Like
Yeah.
now, I was kind of ready for everyone to leave because this place is like really small. We like almost never have traffic unless it's like 5 o'clock. Everybody's trying to get the Taco Bell and Popeyes and McDonald's and jump. But for the entire weekend leading up to the eclipse, it was nonstop traffic, like everywhere, everywhere.
All friends are just toxic. How is all friends toxic? Like please
Yeah,
sit here and
not
Well,
all friends are
elaborate.
toxic.
that's a
Like,
good
cause that's what
like
someone ended up texting me like why do you consider all friends to be toxic? Cause
Okay,
like I don't
but
see like how every single person like I mean some people
okay,
can have like toxic traits, but like
yeah.
I
I
So,
can
guess
understand where
okay,
they're
I can
coming from
see
with
where
that
that
though.
comment came from though, honestly. Like
Yeah,
everyone could be toxic at some point.
yeah,
It's
like
just
yeah.
who do you want there to like sit there and keep
yeah,
forgiving
like what level of
over and over
toxicity will you
again? Like
tolerate?
But
exactly.
That's actually
here's
a
the
good
thing
like
about
that's a good
like,
follow-up question. Like what level of toxicity
Yeah.
do you deem acceptable?
yeah, I feel like your friends can be toxic in a joking way, but you have to decide where the line is on the toxicity. Like
They
I had a
said
friend.
oh, hold on, I'm gonna let you finish. My bad
Okay.
for interrupting.
Now I know how my school teacher felt.
I know, right? I was always that toxic classmate that sat there and like freaking see, like here's me like admitting one of my freaking
Right.
flaws. Oh my god, like one of my faults. Sitting there freaking, I was always the disruptive classmate. I was like not gonna
I
lie,
was
I
the
would
my
always sit
diddling
there.
kid.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I remember
Like,
like this is sort of off topic, but I was in middle school and I seen this squirrel outside in the middle of math class. I was just chilling, and I have one of these other friends. We call him Squirrel. Because every time he sits there and sees a squirrel, he'll sit there and be like, "Oh my God, squirrel!" And like everyone will turn their head. I did not think in that moment, so I was like, "Oh my God, okay, well let me just sit here and be like, hey, squirrel!" at the top of my fucking lungs. Like I just said squirrel out of nowhere because I wasn't thinking, and I was like, "Oh, squirrel!" And then like everyone started busting up laughing,
oh God.
and everyone would just start busting up laughing. And I got in trouble for that afterwards because I was
Oh
the
God.
toxic, disruptive little kid in middle school, and it was so bad. But anyways, this person was like, well, not all friends, but mostly everybody I have, but like one or two are toxic and just shove a dagger in my back. I've forgiven this specific friend multiple times. Like, how would you guys like feel like if that happened to you?
Kick him to the curb. Like, if it's to the point that you expect nothing more than that kind of behavior out of them, there's no point. And I'll
They're
admit,
not a
that's
friend.
probably my toxic trait. I was born and raised into a military family. I have a zero bullshit policy about me. Like, I'll admit, that's probably my toxic trait.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes, please, Emawoo. Like, what
And
do
honestly,
you
that
deem
comment is a
acceptable?
little off topic, but I will address you later. Jesus.
um,
I'm
so
sorry, I
what
was
was
talking to someone who was on here. My bad. Okay,
Okay.
Emily,
so
your
what
turn.
so what was the question again?
Like, what level of toxicity do you deem acceptable when it comes to friendships?
Honestly, I don't really think there is a level you should really tolerate because you don't deserve to have that toxic in your life because there's going to be a point where your body, your mindset, you're going to be emotionally and physically, you're harming yourself no matter what kind of toxic you have in your life. And eventually you're going to be hurting yourself in the long run. So in my opinion, I don't think you should really, keep that person in your life if they are toxic, even if it's just a little bit. Um, if it's something that they can change, you should have a conversation with them. Be like, oh, hey, like, I noticed, like you're acting like this, or like, not saying like, oh, you're acting like this, saying like, hey, I noticed some things have been changing, just have a talk with them, and,
Yeah.
The
because some
fact that I
people,
know exactly who this comment is for, but I'm gonna let you finish real quick before I address this comment that just popped up.
no, like, I was just saying, like, you shouldn't let any toxic. You don't put yourself on the back burner just because you want to be friends with that person. Like, I get it, like, they're your friend and everything, but don't let yourself be back there. Don't let them be, like, don't let that toxic in your life. Don't let it be there because eventually you're going to have enough and it's going to hurt your mental health.
And this is why Emma Wu
Hey,
is
hey,
probably the
you
mom of
are
the friendship.
anonymous. You are
Like,
anonymous. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Yes, you will
But
stay
anyways,
anonymous.
but you're
um,
also texting in my thing, so I know exactly who it is. But that's besides the point. Anyways, I can't. I can't
calling
use you. They were
bitches
like.
out. Let's
They were
go.
like, okay, they were like, I can't kick them to the curb because they have been like my only friend when I need them. Like, I usually kick people to the curb, but this specific friend, I can't just drop. She's been there more times than I can count.
Mm.
Yeah, let me take that one. Let me take that one.
Okay,
Yes,
go
Please let
please.
me
ahead.
take that one.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, let's hear it.
Yo, you cannot put a price on your happiness nor your peace. I don't care if they saved your life. I don't care if they were there when you were born. I don't care if they wiped your ass after you shit on yourself. You cannot put a price on your happiness. If they're being toxic, if they are causing you harm, let them go, bro.
Testify.
I have been in that situation. It's not
I
worth
feel
it
like
because
you
you're
have a
gonna drown
lot more
yourself.
to say on it than like
Yeah, he's trying to behave
than
himself right now.
anything. Like I can
Man,
like tell the
I'm tweaking
rage
out.
and
My
like the
eyes
fact that
twitching.
like I can tell like you want to say names also. Like I can like I know the story only because you told me and but it's like knowing the story and like your rage behind it makes like perfect freaking sense, honestly.
Oh my
But
Yeah.
god.
I mean, you're not wrong though. The fact that, at the end of the day, it's up to you whether or not you allow yourself to be exposed to that level of toxicity. It's not up to them. You can't
yeah.
necessarily put a price on their head, so to speak, just because, oh my God. Oh God, that was terrifying. Um,
And honestly, I bet you this person would want your happiness over everything else in the first place, honestly. Like, if they've stuck around that long, then honestly, oh my god, Typhoon
yeah.
reached season
No,
2. Anyway,
no, they're
but
not.
like, for
They're
real, like,
not. They're not. I promise you, they're not gonna want your happiness.
nice.
They're going to want to dog you and ride you out until you can't take anymore. That's why I say drop them now because they feel like whatever they've done for you, they feel like that's what is it? Their ticket to be able to dog you out